Welcome to Chaos, Courage and Coffee, the podcast for anyone who's felt like on the outside I'm holding it together, but inside I'm struggling.
And we do it with honesty, heart, and just enough coffee to get through the day.
Hello, Vanessa. How are you today?
Oh, pretty good, thank you. Yes, I have a woolly jersey on. It's getting a little bit chilly here, sunny days, keeping myself all warm and cozy.
Oh, that's good. I've started pulling out my jumpers as well. It's even warming down or cooling down, I should say, here in Australia. So, all right. So today I thought we could talk about why we don't really notice small changes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
why small change feels like nothing.
Yeah. Do you know that's interesting? When my son was little, I really struggled with his behavior, like really, really struggled. And I did realize at one point that I was going to have to notice the small progresses because otherwise I was just left with a kid that I just was struggling with. And that was like all I could see. And it was just so demoralizing. Like day after day, I just felt really helpless. I was like, I just don't know what to do. Well, this whole thing is why I now help parents. So I won't dwell on that. So, but I know what it's like when you're stuck where you just like nothing's happening, nothing's changing, and it really doesn't make you feel good. It really is hard.
Yeah, it can be. I think we are so focused on the end goal, the thing we're trying to achieve, or the end state, or whatever you want to say, that the little steps along the way don't feel like much. So if we want to lose, let's say we're talking about losing weight, exercise. We're going to the gym every day and we're exercising, and we want to lose 20 kilograms in weight overall. That's our end goal. If we lose 2 or 3, that's still an achievement, but for a lot of us, that's not good enough. We've still got 17, 18 to go. We haven't got to the end point. And so what we don't look at or don't consider is the fact that it is actually working. We are actually progressing. We are having those small wins. And I know um, early in my fitness journey, uh, every 5 kilograms was an achievement, or every day that I could stand on the scales and say, I have absolutely lost 1 more kilo. That gets me one step closer to my ultimate goal of where I want to be. And it's those little things I think that we don't do enough to recognize or celebrate.
It's interesting when you said that because it's like, okay, so the person who wanted to lose, I think you said 20 kg, whatever, and they've lost 2 or 3, and they're like, but then you think there's a person out there who wants to lose 2 or 3 kg, and they would have achieved their goal. They would be like, yes, hurrah, I've lost 2 or 3 kg. And it's just the different perspective. The one who wants to lose 20 hasn't. But it was interesting because as soon as you said that, we focus on the end goal. I thought, oh my God, this is the trap. So going back to my son, the end goal was I want him to behave. And I don't know what I was expecting. All right. Was I expecting perfection or what? Because here I am with the mums and I'm just thinking, oh my God, what are you expecting, guys? Are you expecting this child that's always going to do what you say? And what I'm saying is I was never going to achieve the goal. Like, I don't think I'd made it clear within myself what I was wanting to get to. He never had a chance of getting to where I wanted to because I think I wanted this ideal thing that's just not going to happen because we're all human. So I was like, I mean, it's gone off topic a little bit, but it is another point is not only was I not noticing the progress, I was also trying to get somewhere that just wasn't even realistic.
Yeah, that's right. We're not noticing. So even talking about losing the weight, how many times did we go to the gym this week? Did we go once, or did we go 3 times or 5 times? How well behaved was your son? I know there could still be behavior problems, but did he do the right thing 3 or 4 times through the week or twice in a day?
Well, see, this is interesting because this is what I changed it to because I was so focused on the bad behavior. And I say bad behavior, but you know what I mean. And there was some every day. Therefore, because every day he does some bad behavior, he is a naughty child. And I was like, this way of looking at it isn't working. What I need to see is I needed a different measurement, right? And again, it's all back to how I could see the progress. So this is how it all came out. I was like, this doesn't work. He's actually a really good child, apart from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 20 things he does wrong. All right, let's maybe make a note of how many things are wrong, and this is what I do with clients. Okay, so rather than 20 things, he's now only doing maybe 17. That's progress. So it's about measuring the right thing so that you look, spin it any which way you want. You want to see progress. Okay, it's like stats, statistics. You can make it say anything you want. You can fudge it around and you can show that it's done well or not done well or whatever you want it to do. Do the same here. You want to see progress, find a way to see progress. So in Brett's example, but I went to the gym 3 times. That's progress. Not necessarily the weight you've lost. That's progress. Just because you can't see the weight you lost, that's the progress. So look at your measurement of what you're of what you're measuring. Look at what it is and change it if it's not something that you can see the progress of incrementally.
Absolutely. And it might, if we're going back to the gym again, it might just be that my muscles don't feel sore the following day anymore. That's
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Because you lifted the same amount. Exactly.
or your weights might be getting heavier. That's progress.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of different ways of measuring progress towards getting to where you want to be. It's just finding the measurement that is works for you, that's important to you, or relative to you, I suppose. So another problem is, I think, that progress is boring. The end goal is the big woohoo, celebration thing, but we forget, I think, to celebrate the small wins along the way. The fact that it might not be okay, maybe it is 5 days in the week that I got there, or maybe that I've been going 3 days a week for a whole month to the gym. That might be the small win. I might not have reached my 20-kilo goal, but from being that couch potato, I'm now that gym person that goes to the gym 3 times a week religiously for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months. That's building the habit to get us to where we want to be and losing that weight.
And
And that might be the win.
and this is really good until someone else, and you're like, yeah, but look, I've gone to the gym 3 times a week for 4 weeks, and someone else comes along and goes, oh, well done, Brett. Yeah, I go every day. I've been doing it for a year. And here's where we got the problem because you now start comparing. And that's when you get into trouble because you can look at your little progress thing. And then the mum's like, yeah, great. My kid only misbehaved 17 times today. And then the mum at the school gate goes, ah, my little Johnny, he's such a good boy, never does a thing wrong. And you're just like absolutely crushed by that.
Yes, but I think that comparison trap, and we've talked about traps before, the comparison trap of comparing our journey to their journey, as you said in your gym example, and I really like it because that person that goes every day, you said, has been going for a year. We've been going for 1 month. And we need to give ourselves that grace that that person that's been going for a year, what was their journey like at the beginning? Were they going, there was had to have been a point where they were going 3 days a week for a month. That would have been a win for them. So I think it is unfair of ourselves, unfair for others to compare ourselves to somebody that is much further along the journey than we are. And I think we just need to recognize and focus on that a little bit is that and I hear it a lot in coaching that new coaches compare themselves to coaches that have been in business for 5 years. And I want that level of success, but you're not there yet. You haven't been doing this for as long. You can't expect to achieve the same results as somebody who's, been doing it so much longer than you. So recognize where you're at in your journey and recognize the steps that you've already taken, how far your journey has come because that's unique to you.
Yeah, but even not looking at the time, because someone else might be, famous and they've only been doing it for, say, 5 or 10 years, and you've been doing it 15 years. So it is very much being individual and focusing on your journey, because you might have other things going on for you. You might not be, if you take the, say you're coaching, or whatever your business is, and you might not be doing it full time, or you might have health issues, or just you're a different person. So I always, and I think it works well for me, my comparison is with myself, because only I know how hard this is for myself, or how much effort I'm putting in for myself. So yeah, it is the problem, like I said, when you get to the school gate and you're feeling so good about how you've improved with your child, and you got this, probably the blimmin' PTA baking mum that I mentioned last week has got such a good child, and you just feel crushed. Don't compare to them, okay? They're on a different journey. They got other stuff going on in life. So yeah, it's gonna knock you. That kind of thing really knocks you, which is why the more touch points of measurement you've got, the better. So you don't just have one. So I'm not just counting he did only 17 things instead of 20. Also, and this is a big one, and I'll even mention it for other mums, the meltdowns. How long did it last? So I always looked at recovery time, because my kids, they could have massive meltdowns. Okay. They like hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. And so what I looked at is recovery time. How long did it take them to get themselves back? So have as many touch points as you want. So like with Brett's gym one, it's like, did my muscles hurt? Are my weights increasing? Am I going more times a week? And I don't go to the gym, so I can't give you any more, Beth. Have as many as you can. You might be doing your weight, but I do know about weight. Don't just weigh yourself, measure as well, because they're two completely different things. Have as many different measurements as you can, because at different points, different one will show you progress. And then when somebody says something else, you can go, oh yeah, well, that's fine that you go more times. I've upped my weights. My measurements are different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. The different touch points is really important. We can look at muscle mass compared to fat mass and all these different things. There's all sorts of different measurements that, you know, are going to change over time. And it might not even be weight. It might just be the way you look, the way your clothes fit. All these different things can be little wins that we don't necessarily recognize. And I think that's another point as well. We don't notice the little things. We look for the big things. And so I think it's really important to understand that our brain adapts quickly to change. And the change now becomes, or the change from 1 month ago is our new normal. And it feels like, well, we haven't really changed that much, or we haven't progressed that far. But, and you said this, your only true comparison is against yourself. And that should be for everybody. Am I better than I was 1 month ago? Has something changed from 1 month ago? That's where the real journey is. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to compare yourself to others. Just, are you better today than yesterday? Did you get 3 days in the gym this week compared to last week when you only went two? That's a win and that's progress.
So I want to highlight the statement you just said about we adapt to change. So what happens is we do quickly adjust our baseline. So we need to notice, because it's become the new level, the new base level, so easily and quickly that we didn't notice it. Okay. And we have to notice it, because we've just absorbed it as, this is where I'm at now. And I haven't got a concrete example coming to my mind, but I wish I did, because it's the way humans work. And by having the touch points, you can start to notice it, but you won't necessarily feel it, because you've so quickly adapted to the next level that you're at. All right, let's take my son, the 17. I've adapted to it's only 17. I've forgotten about that it used to be 25, 30. So if I'm now counting and I'm on 17, I can easily forget that it was worse and go, my son's still doing 17 things a day that are really, I'm struggling with. And that's my new baseline.
Yeah.
I've got to know where I came from. And I do this with parents. So when we start, we always have the starting point. Yes, we have a goal for where we want to get to. Maybe it's 4. But when we lose that kind of motivation, we go, okay, yeah, we've been on 17 for a week, 2 weeks. But remember where we started, 25. So it does it's kind of keep your spirit up, really, isn't it?
Huh. Yeah, it is. It's about, if we only focus on the now, we're not going to recognize that progress, as we are saying. And so it is, are we better? And sometimes I think the looking back, the reflection, where did we start? As you say, that baseline, where did we start? Where am I now? How much have I progressed? Yes, it's important to keep the end goal in mind because it gives us something to aim for, the light at the end of the tunnel, or whatever the case may be. But we do need to recognize what we've achieved so far, because that in itself, it might be, as I said before, it might be the person that was the couch potato that's now gone to the gym 3 days every week for a month. That might be the win for that person because they're starting to change their behaviors, their who they are, their identity, I suppose, when we start doing something so consistently. And that will pay off in the longer term. So, yes, recognize the little things, recognize from our baseline how much things have changed over time.
And I don't, I want to just mention, but I don't really want to go into goals, but just bear in mind, you might never get to that goal. It might have been unrealistic. As Brett said, it's just something you're aiming for. So I might have thought that I could aim for the perfect child, and I might have then adapted that. Oh, I'm going to just going to aim for 4 things a day. You know what? I might settle on 6. And I'm a bit like that with my dog, with the dog training, to be honest. My dog is so well behaved and everybody says it, but there's a few things she does wrong. I seem to have not, I've dropped it as a goal because I've made good progress and I'm kind of happy with my progress. So you can change it along the way. You might never get to the goal. It is just something, it is that light at the end of the tunnel that Brett said. It's that thing to aim for. So don't fixate on it. It might be okay, or you might get there eventually.
Yeah. So I think one of the other things we need to talk about when we're talking about this, and the way the human mind works, is that we can achieve good things. We can go to the gym. Oh, I keep coming back to this gym one. We've been talking about it, so why not? We can go to the gym every day for a month or 3 days a week for a month, but then something happens, we have a week off and we don't go at all for a week. We focus on the week that we didn't go more than the fact that we did achieve that short term success. We tend to focus on the fails more than we do the wins.
And
And I
beat
think,
ourselves up big about that one. Oh, yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
And so that's, it's natural. I want to say that. It's perfectly fine. It's natural, but big but, we need to recognize what has been achieved. As you said, Vanessa, if your son's been naughty 17 times compared to the baseline, he's still 5% better than he was, or better behaved than he was when you started. And so, yes, recognize, acknowledge, yes, we did this thing, but don't beat yourselves up on it.
Okay, well,
Don't focus on the negatives.
the comparison that for my example, that's not the gym one, is we can have a day that was disastrous. And instead of the 17 that we were on, we were tracking nicely. I mean, it wasn't exactly 17 every day, was it? It was 15, 18, whatever. But then we might have a day and it was 25. But a disaster. We just couldn't get a handle on it. Right? That's not, "Oh, no, it's not working. We need to stop this." It's, "That was a bad day." Maybe even scratch that out. I'm sure you're allowed to do that with statistics. You've got a line like this, and you've got one that's an outlier. "Oh, well, just ignore that. Here's the trend." Okay? Actually, that is true. That is a thing. So yeah, but it's so similar. I'm just giving you a different example. The week off the gym, the day that was disastrous, we can get really hooked up on that. You know, we can go, oh, it's not working, I'm going to give up. You know, you might have had 3 that week. Well, maybe there was something going on, you know, maybe I was moving house or something. And it's like, well, then that's just going to upset everybody because I've got emotions going on. Of course, it's going to get worse for him. Why am I, you know? So, yeah, it's about where you focus a little bit and not giving up too easily because you had a setback. Because we are human. I mean, I don't know if we've done it, but it'd be a lovely argument for us to have in the podcast about consistency, because there's a lot of people out there who really believe in consistency, and I'd love to have a conversation about it because tell you what, I can't do consistency. I'm not consistent. I can't expect my kid to be consistent. I can't expect everything in my life to be consistent. And you know what? As we spoke about last week, there's an outside world there that's happening. So that doesn't help me be consistent because stuff's happening out there and that's affecting me. So you please don't get put off by your setbacks.
Yeah, I think it's really important for us to recognize life happens, life gets in the way. Things don't always go as planned. You might not have gone to the gym because you were sick, because you had a lot of other family commitments. I know it might be the time of year. All sorts of different stuff can be impacting it. And so I think the success really is looking back at, I think your analogy, the baseline and where we're at now, that is really, I think, our only true way to measure our progress on our path to our big goal.
Okay, so summary then.
There are all sorts of things. So we don't, I suppose I'm looking for the right words here. Our topic today was why we don't notice the small wins. And I think we covered there are a few different reasons why we don't do it. All right. We talked about we compare to the end goal and we're so far away from the end goal still. We talked about progress is usually boring. It's a little steps. It's not that we don't celebrate the small wins, which I think is a little bit of a set not a setback. It's a bit of a shame. Sometimes the small wins, just a little celebration. I've done this thing, yay for me, can be a really big thing. We adapt quickly to the new normal or to the changes, and we talked about we notice the setbacks more than the wins.
And I'm not sure if you just said in the summary about comparing to others as well. But if you did, I'll put that in again. We compare to others and that can upset where we're at in our progress.
Yeah, our only real measure is against ourselves yesterday. How did we perform today as opposed to yesterday? Not somebody else's journey. Everybody's journey is unique to them. Your journey is unique to you.
Yeah. And looking at the trend and not picking on the odd little failures. But I think you said that I might be repeating us now, but that's okay. A bit of repetition is really helpful because it might get the message through.
So I think we've talked about all of these points and how we can manage those. So is there one thing, Vanessa, you'd like our audience to take away from today?
I think it's about keeping the focus and it's on you and your journey and spinning it in a way like statistics that works for you to see your progress and your journey.
For me, I would say it's the your baseline analogy. Where did I start? Where am I now? And what's the difference? That's our small win. And it doesn't matter how small it is. There's a saying that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And I'm still one step closer to that goal than I was before I took that step. So look at where we started and how far we've come.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very good. Thanks, Brett.
Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you, everybody.
Thanks for being with us today on Chaos, Courage and Coffee. Remember, you're not alone and you don't have to figure it all out at once. What part of today's conversation stood out for you?
This podcast is about showing up in the mess, not waiting until it's all sorted out. If today helped, share it with someone else who might need it too.
And if you're navigating your own version of chaos, we'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment, message us, or join the conversation.
We'll be back soon with more honest talk, less pressure, and just enough courage to get through whatever's next.
See you next time on Chaos, Courage and Coffee.